Attorney Moumita. Thank you so much for joining me live. I am so happy to be back to talk about immigration with you again today. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Moumita Rahman. I want to start with one question today. Are you a person who is in need of a green card? You have married a U.S. citizen and you were discussing and you talked about doing your green card application together. But now that you're married, now that you have already started the process, you are seeing little signs about your spouse trying to delay your green card process. For example, you go visit a lawyer and the lawyer tells you that you should get these documents together, that you should give this information, and you ask your spouse to help you put these documents together so that you can file your application. And you see that your husband or your wife is delaying giving this to you. You keep getting excuses after excuses about why they can't give you this document, or why maybe you need to do it later. Maybe now is not a good time to apply for your green card, or maybe that they say that they have other things to worry about rather than helping you get your green card. Now, my opinion is that when you are without status, without papers, without a legal immigration status inside the United States, your life is at risk, because at any time, if you were to get arrested by ICE or get into some sort of trouble, you can end up in deportation. So your American citizens' spouses' priority should be to help you get your papers, because for you to have a life together in the US, especially if you have children, the green card needs to be a priority. So if you do find yourself in the situation about where you have started the green card process, but you're getting delay and excuse after excuse, this may be a sign that you are having some issues in your relationship. And I would also wonder whether your spouse is also giving you trouble and starting to make you feel like you owe them for even getting married. So if you're having problems, you're married to a U.S. citizen, give us a call, 212-248-7907. I would be happy to go with you through your options to see if we could maybe go ahead and file an application on your own, and instead of having to rely on your spouse. So that is my question that I want to start out with. And I'm going to go ahead and answer some immigration questions. So if you have any sort of immigration question, I will do my best to answer them. Make sure you drop it over here. I know that there's a lot to talk about. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Ricky, hello, hello. Thank you for saying that I'm your favorite. All right, I have a question from Luna Montoya, who's asking, hi, what is going on with the visa, with the U visa I applied in 2018? Luna, thank you so much for your question. For you and anyone else who has applied for a U visa, here's the thing to know. U visas are taking a very, very long time, because it just is. I don't know why it takes so long. It took a long time before. Nowadays, if you've applied for a U visa, you should expect that your U visa application may take anywhere between 5 to 10 years. So if you did apply in 2018, Luna, a few years have passed, you will still need to wait. But there's a new rule that came out that is saying that if you have filed for a U visa and you have received your letter of bona fide determination, which is not a pre-approval really, but it's basically the government is saying that, you know, we believe that your case is a legitimate case, then you can get a work permit sooner. So in the past, you know, if you have applied for a U visa, you could not even get a work permit based upon your U visa until you got the whole case actually approved. And since it's taking like 10 years to get your U visa approved, it's a very, very long time to wait. So Luna, if you got your bona fide determination, contact your lawyer because they're still trying to figure out how they're going to get it out, but you might have an option. Latifa, thank you for the follow. PB is asking, on I-751, I'm filing both divorce and the abuse waiver. Is there anything to be concerned about? No, nothing at all. So for my friends over here who are watching me who have a 2-year green card, because you got your 2-year green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen, but now you're either getting divorced, you're separated, or your spouse doesn't want to help you, and you need to apply for waivers, because normally when you apply to convert your 2-year green card into a 10-year green card, you usually have to do it with your spouse, because that's how you got your green card in the first place. And the government wants you to prove again that your marriage is legitimate, it's bona fide. However, things don't always work out, and people aren't always who you think they are. So if you have started your waiver process alone by yourself because your spouse won't help, or you have gotten divorced after filing, you need to file for a waiver for either extreme cruelty if you qualify, or for divorce if you have already gotten divorced. There is no problem at all, but you need to be prepared to prove that your marriage was still real, that you intended to have a real relationship when you entered into that marriage. Very important, no matter what you do, whether you're filing your I-751 as as a joint couple or on your own with a waiver, okay? And if definitely, guys, I am so happy to say that just in the past few weeks alone, we have gotten so many I-751s based upon both divorce and extreme cruelty waivers approved. It blows my mind. And, these are cases also, I also had a case approved where some other lawyer tried to help my client get approved for an I-751, but it got denied. They came to me, we applied with waivers, and it got approved, no interview. And I've also been having lots of interviews for these I-751 waivers, still getting approved. So if you're in the situation, I can't say I specialize in it, but I do a lot of these cases, and it is one of my favorite things to do. All right. Let's see what other questions I have. Thank you to everyone for your patience. I may not be able to get to all questions. David, thank you so much. Alma is saying, I've been here for 6 years. Can I apply for anything? I'm from Nicaragua. Alma, definitely give us a call. We can see if you qualify for some sort of humanitarian case type. But guys, just being in the US alone for any period of time doesn't usually qualify you for anything. You need to have some sort of independent basis, which means you usually need to have either a family member, such as a spouse or a child who's an adult, help you, or you qualify for a humanitarian case. Okay. Let's see. Armando Higuera, hello, Moumita. I filed the form I-751 to remove conditions if I do not get my new green card by the time the 18-month extension expires. What do I do next? Armando, thank you so much for your question. This is a good question. So here's the deal. That receipt, it's going to probably expire because when you file to remove your conditions, the government is so backlogged on these applications that they have recently started giving out 24-month extensions because of the fact they're taking so long. And it is very possible that during this process, your letter of extension is going to expire because the government has still not made a decision. What are you supposed to do? Are you going to be in trouble because your letter is expired? The answer is no, you're not going to get in trouble. In fact, you can actually make an appointment with InfoPass to request a stamp in your passport called the I-551 stamp. It's a little bit difficult to get the appointment. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to even get the stamp, but that stamp will end up being your new proof of residency until you get approved on your case. Now, some people think that, like maybe their status expires because the letter is expired. That is not true. Your conditional resident status remains valid until you get a denial, basically, or until a judge says no. So don't worry, Armando, you're still okay. Go make that appointment and get that stamp. Now, when it comes to traveling, if your letter is expired, do not travel out of the United States because that is a recipe for disaster. You may not be allowed back in. You'll have to go through a lot of trouble to get a transportation letter from the consulate above overseas. Okay, Armando? And give us a call if you need help with your case, 212-248-7907. All right. KH is saying, dear attorney, I'd like to meet you, but your office isn't allowing in-person appointments, only by calling. Yes, that is true. I am no longer doing any in-person appointments. The only way to meet with me is going to be either via phone or via video, but it's nothing to worry about. You can ask anyone who are my clients right now. I am able to help you no matter whether I meet with you in person or on video. In person, there's nothing that you need to show me or tell me in person that you couldn't tell me over the phone, and I could help you perfectly either way. Riz Ali is saying, I answered illegal. Can I get a waiver if I get married? Riz, yes, if you do not have a legal entry into the United States and you're married to a U.S. citizen right now, you may need to do a waiver, what we call the perdón as well. For this, you need to show that your spouse would suffer extreme hardship in the U.S. and also they could not relocate with you outside the U.S. They would suffer equally extremely as well. And you may qualify for this. You may qualify for other cases as well, Riz, okay? Lauren Lay is asking, hi, Moumita, is there a difference if filing adjustment of status if married couple is the same sex? Thank you. Lauren, no, there is not. I'm so happy to say that I've helped to get green cards for so many same-sex couples. I love it. You guys are the best. Definitely there's no problem, okay? No matter what state in the country you're in, it is no problem. You just have to make sure that your marriage is legal wherever it's done. If you're in the United States, same-sex marriage is legal. It is legal in every single state, so you're fine. If you get married to your partner outside the US, just make sure that the country, in that country, the marriage is legitimate, okay? And there's no problems at all. I've had, look, this is a, like times are different. People are accepting new ways of being. Sexuality is also fluid. And I've also had people come to me who were married with, in a hetero relationship before, and now they're in a same-sex marriage and they're very worried. And I'm also happy to say I have not had any problems. The same thing remains the truth, okay? You always have to prove, no matter what, that your marriage is real to the person who you're married to. And if you've been married before in the past, well, your spouse needs to know about it, and you may need to be able to explain why the marriage didn't work out. But just because you were married to, say, somebody of the opposite sex before and you're married to somebody of the same sex right now does not mean that it's automatic trouble, okay, Lauren? And if you need help, give us a call. 212-248-7907. Okay, let's see. I'm so happy to be back. It's been a long time since I've been able to do a live, and I'm so happy to see everyone here today. I have a green card through marriage, but I had a pending asylum, which I canceled, and I want to travel to my home country without, can I travel without any problem? From Shashikant. Okay, so if you have withdrawn your asylum application, you are now married to a US citizen, you want to travel to your home country, will you have a problem? Well, it really depends. It is definitely true that if you travel, you may be asked questions by Customs and Border Patrol about why, what was the case about? They may give you problems. You just basically have to be prepared for everything. Now, my opinion is that if you have filed an asylum, you don't have your green card yet, you've withdrawn the asylum, and you're doing it through marriage right now, it's probably best to just wait until you either get your green card or your citizenship before you travel, because you don't want anyone to say that you filed a fake asylum case before, because that can definitely be a big can of worms, okay? I hope that helps. I applied for DACA months ago, and it's still paused. Do you know how much longer it will take? From Gojo's wife. Gojo, I really don't know the DACA applications, whether you're filing for a renewal. If you're filing for a renewal, we're finding that all of our renewals are taking a very, very long time. And this has been a great big problem because people's work permits underneath DACA have expired and they still haven't gotten their new one. It's a very, very bad situation. I don't know how long it's going to take. Hi, I'm on H-1B. Can you file a green card without my employer's involvement? From NK Rocks. So first of all, I do not do business-based applications right now. But if you, unless you're filing something underneath the extraordinary ability or with a national interest waiver request, you need your employer's assistance. I'm a DACA student going to university in Hawaii in the spring. Will I be able to come back? From Leslie. Leslie, so if you're flying straight to Hawaii, that is still considered part of the United States, so you should be fine. Just make sure you don't get into international waters. All right. I have filed for my husband since the beginning of 2019. I'm just waiting for my marriage interview. Why is it taking so long to receive my interview date? From Jennifer De La Cruz. Jennifer, I'm so sorry to hear that it's taking so long. This is actually not an uncommon thing. You probably filed, it's definitely taking a long time. I would recommend that you contact your senator's office for some assistance on your case. There might be some other issues as well. If you need a consultation, give us a call. All right. So I'm gonna have time for one more question. Let me see what I have. Okay, Brenda Garcia is asking, can I claim my husband and sister at the same time? Brenda, I think there's no problem to that. If these are going to be considered separate applications. You're going to have to file separate I-130s for each of your relatives. When the time comes for them to do the other process that requires your affidavit of support with the case, you have to make sure your income is sufficient. And if your income is not sufficient, then you can always look for a joint sponsor, okay? So it's nada más, it's no problems at all. Okay, thank you so much to everyone who's joining. I have to get home. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Stay tuned. I hope to be back soon to do more lives. Take care, everyone.